This episode is brought to you by our friends at Express. And look, a large chunk of my wardrobe is brought to you by Express as well. And that's even before they came on as a sponsor. Button-down shirts, so many Express shirts in the closet. Got a couple of blazers. My favorite blue blazer is an Express blazer. I've had it for years, and it's one of my absolute favorites. For me, the absolute most comfortable pair of jeans that you can find is an Express pair of jeans. I didn't even buy these in store. I bought these online, and they're still unbelievably comfortable. Absolutely love all the styles you can find at Express. And the detail is amazing. You got collar details on a polo. You got new patterns like florals and geometric and stripes. Everything you can possibly imagine. Suits, denim, all the good stuff is available at Express. Find an outfit for every destination at Express, online or in store.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
We are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use code Dan for a special offer when you sign up. That's code Dan, only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Mike Ryan, give me the stat of the day music, please, the short version.
Start of the day, start of the day, it is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day, it is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day, it is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day, it is the start of the day.
It is presented by ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is Ron Magill. We'll get to him in just a second. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Barry Bonds in 2004 reached base safely 376 times in 373 at-bats.
That can't be right.
Yeah, it is.
With the walks, he walked so much. He did walk a ton. So his on base
373 at-bats, reached base safely 376 times.
I saw it.
Well,
Not in the Hall of Fame.
Walks don't count as at bats, so it's
That's
like
right.
yeah.
So he had what the stat is, he had 363 at bats and also had, or 373 at bats and also had 376 walks, because walks don't count as at bats.
Well, no, he just got on base two times less than the number of at bats that he had.
3 times.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That includes
because
hits and all that.
yeah, so the hits and the walks are all included in that, but the walks don't count as at bats. So then the number, it isn't, the way that it is positioned is that every time but 3 times he was on base, but that's not actually the case.
No, but I think it's actually, no, the way it's positioned is it was on base more than he had at bats, that it would be mathematically impossible the way it's positioned.
I have another mathematical mind bender, because I saw this stat on a Twitter account, and I just flatly said, that can't be right. And then I Googled it, and a lot of people are citing this, and I still have my doubts. But the gap between, in total bases, between Hank Aaron and second is 12 miles. Hank Aaron traveled 12 miles further than second place in total bases. I'm not sure how this works. I think Barry Bonds would have a say in the matter, but that is a stat that is out there.
It's 90 feet at a time. 90 feet at a time by total bases.
Hammer and Hank. In 2004, Bonds walked 232 times. His on-base percentage was .609. I mean,
He had 617 plate appearances, but only 373 at-bats. So with the 232 walks, and I presume like reaching on an error or something like that doesn't count as an at-bat?
Hit by
He's the
pitches.
best ever.
Reaching on an error does count as an at-bat. Yes,
Right.
it does.
Counts against
Oh, that's
you.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will.
Hit by pitch.
We will
Right.
get to,
Ron gets it.
No, hit by pitch does not count as an at bat.
Right.
exactly.
Incidentally, his OPS that year was 1422.
Yeah,
Wow.
the Seattle Times, in citing this Hank Aaron stat, said Hank Aaron had a margin of 722 more bases than the runner-up Stan Musial. Easy for me to say, Stan Musial.
Stan the man.
Yeah, which equals 12 miles more.
We will get to Ron Magill and
Usual.
a really horrible death at the hands of a snake in a second.
I said it like Andrew Luck. Stan
Said it
Musial.
like me.
Usual. The stat I saw the other day is that Bonds and Clemens faced each other 8 times, and Clemens hit Bonds more than Bonds hit Clemens.
Rockets.
And there was never they faced each other, but it was all walks and strikeouts, and Barry Bonds never actually ended an at bat swinging at a pitch.
Well, it's a level playing field considering the PED situation.
Ron, you've been on television this week going through a top 10 list of dangerous animals as Shark Week gets upon us, and we will talk to a Shark Week type guest later in the week. But Mike Ryan has had trouble finding the top 10 list that you're being asked about. So before we get to that, I just want to ask you about a man who was strangled unconscious by his pet snake last week. He died at a hospital afterward, but authorities came and shot the snake in the head. How weird is this? How rare is it? How rare is it to die at the hospital afterward? How strange is it to have to shoot a snake in the head? All of it. What happened here?
I don't know. It's strange that they go and shoot a snake in the head. Yes, it's strange that a snake kills a person in that way. I don't know what the autopsy report was. Was the guy overdosed on drugs? So was the snake, wrapped around him? Did he actually die of asphyxiation? Did he die from some type of drug overdose? The coroner's office says an anoxic brain injury, which means probably lack of oxygen to the brain. No. It could be, yes, it could be. And, certainly the snake is capable of doing that. So it's not an impossibility. And this is one of the reasons why, in the state of Florida, for instance, it's illegal to have these big pythons and such. But people need to be aware that any of these large constrictors that gets around your neck, it can kill you. I mean, that's the bottom line. So this is not something that totally surprises me. However, it is extremely rare that it happens.
Mike Ryan says there are too many dangerous animal lists on the internet. He does not know the ones that were given to you as a top 10 list by CNN and others. I don't know how much you remember from the top of your head, but go through.
I do remember.
If you want to go through your top 10 or object to their top 10, have at it. Tell us what you got.
No, I don't object to their top 10. I think that the reason I was called was because it was Shark Week and everybody was saying, I can't believe sharks were not on this top 10 list. The bottom line is sharks are not the most dangerous animals. The number one most dangerous animal was the mosquito. Of course, millions of people die from mosquitoes all the time. Number two most dangerous animal, believe it or not, was human being. That's a given that a lot of people don't take note of. And then it became things like a snail. There was a snail that creates this parasite that kills thousands of people every year. And then there's a type of little worm that creates death in a lot of third world countries, thousands of people every year. Then there's a bug called the assassin bug. It looks like a little beetle that can create a virus, injects a virus into you that can kill you. I think that the big thing on the list was that the small little things are the ones that can kill you the most, except for humans. And then number 9 was elephant, number 10 was hippo. So, these are things, no bears, no tigers, no lions, no sharks. These are animals that people always look at because they're so, sensationalized in the media, when the reality is people die from much smaller things that they don't pay attention to quite often.
Ron, are there animals that kill for fun? Like if there were some animals that felt like they were left off the list or they were too low on the list, could they decide, we're going to kill more this year, so next year we're higher on the list?
I will tell you animals that kill for fun. I don't know where they get upset because they weren't on the list, but domestic cats kill for fun. If you've ever watched domestic cats, they'll go out there and catch birds and catch mice and kill them. They won't eat them, and they'll bring them to your porch and leave them as gifts, but they're not killing to eat. They're kind of instinctively killing an animal and then leaving it. It's kind of an exercise for them. Orcas also kill for fun occasionally, don't they? I've heard that orchids play with food, but they do eventually eat it. They enjoy the challenge of playing with the food. You see them toss it around to each other, and quite a bit. It looks quite gruesome when you watch it. But more often than not, that prey is also eaten afterwards when the game is over. What is the assassin bug, Ron? It's some type of beetle. I don't know exactly what it is, but it looks like some type of beetle if you look it up, and it supposedly is a conduit for a virus that is extremely deadly to people. When you mentioned the snail, I had told you a couple of weeks ago that there was a county in Florida that shut down because an African snail was guilty of spreading meningitis, correct? They put him on trial? That's funny, Mike. Anyway, with the African snail, what it does is it can transmit meningitis, but more than that, it's just a massive snail that can cause a lot of damage to your house, too. It eats stucco. It feeds on the calcium of stucco. It'll eat the plaster right off your house. The thing is an incredibly destructive little beast.
What is the most annoying animal to have in the house or around the house, destroying the house? Is there something that tops termites or?
No, I mean, everybody knows how I feel about roaches. Not that they're destructive. I just cannot stand roaches. I hate roaches.
No, but I'm talking about the destruction of your home.
Oh, you're talking about a 2-year-old.
My puppy.
Some people will tell you that, bats can get up into the eaves of your house and they produce so much fecal material that the acid can really damage your house. Not to mention the ammonia smell can be overwhelming. So if bats get in the wrong place in your house, that many people will consider somewhat destructive. But generally speaking, it's invertebrates, it's insects that do most of the damage.
Ron, I saw a video of a couple of gorillas fighting each other. What are some of the warning signs that one animal would give to another animal of the same species waiting to fight?
You speak about gorillas, Roy, and the bottom line is it very rarely gets to actual physical contact. Their challenges are all in body language. One of the first things they do is they tighten their lips. They tighten their lips and they look away and they look out of the side of their eye. They look really right out of the side of their eye with tight lips like that. And then they put their arms out and they make the hair stand up on their arms. So their arms look really big and they'll stand up with their tight and they'll arch their back. And that usually is a challenge to each other. And then eventually, if that doesn't work, they'll get up and they'll cup their hands and they pop their chest, just pop their chest, and they'll run by you and they'll try to get like a branch or something and swing it around. They make a big show. It's a lot of bark, but really no bite. It's very rare that they actually get to that actual physical conflict. And when that happens, it's usually just like a drive-by. They run by and they slap at each other. They make the contact, and that's where it ends.
Ron, have we had too much of a market correction on pro-shark propaganda that's out there? Every Shark Week, I'm being told how not dangerous these things are. Yet every Shark Week special that I'm watching tells me and highlights incidents in which they are very dangerous. They seem rather unpredictable, and if I see one out there in the wild, I'm going to be scared. I don't think they're as safe as they're alleging.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something, Mike. Just the other day, I was out at the beach at a hotel called Faena, beautiful beach, and my wife and I are out there in the water, crystal clear water, and this
Baller.
Faena.
This Tesla, this guy, man.
Anyway, we're
ready to get in those political kickbacks.
And a fairly large nurse shark comes swimming by, literally within 5 feet of me. My wife screams in panic. Everybody in the water is, and this nurse shark is just going by, doing absolutely nothing. Okay. And I told people, I said, this is a nurse shark. Let it go. Be lucky that you're able to see this animal just kind of going on its own way here through the water. It's not a panic situation. Mike, I've taken drone footage of literally 50 sharks, no more than 25 yards away from all these beachgoers without any problem at all.
Yeah,
so
Ron, make it a bull shark.
Yep.
Then what?
A bull shark has more potential to be dangerous to people.
Yeah.
Right.
You're getting out of the water if it's a bull shark, aren't you?
Ron, the larger point is no one likes the guy in the ocean who's not afraid of the shark. Like, get over yourself.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Respect the shark.
You got to scream when a shark comes around.
You got to scream shark and have a lot of panic around you. That's how it goes.
From the man who screams when there's a gecko in his house.
Yeah. Well, that's what you do.
Frog.
You scream. Good night, nurse.
Thank you for clarifying.
Exactly right.
And it was a bullfrog, to be
Yeah,
exact.
he was trying to paint you in a negative light.
A frog. Okay.
You
guys,
like that joke?
Yeah, that's
Good
pretty
night,
good.
nurse.
Good night, nurse. Yeah, good night, nurse. That was an expression. Ron knows what I mean. Good night, nurse. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Hey, Ron, I have I'm going to give you a quiz here. I want to describe an animal that I'd never heard of and see if you can identify it. Okay, you ready for the hint?
Sure.
In Southeast Asia, there is a bizarre scale-covered mammal which has been called a walking pine cone and a modern
Pangolin.
That's exactly right.
Wow. Look
Wow.
at that.
I
That
love
is-
this game.
Nobody likes that guy.
5
He's got
seconds,
the
man.
answer before.
No, that's pretty good. And the sentence ends with an animal that could go extinct before most people realize it even exists. Tell us a
Yes,
little about that.
The scales, the scales of that animal are used as medicinal purposes throughout Asia, and they confiscate shipments, literally thousands of pounds of these scales, which, equals thousands of these animals that are being raped from the wild just to satisfy these old misconceptions and disbeliefs about scales being used as the cure to the next cancer or whatever they think it is. And these cultural beliefs that have come down generation after generation have led to the demise of so many animals, ranging from pangolins all the way up to rhinos.
Billy, why are you laughing back there? What is happening in the back row? Why is Roy roaring with laughter? What just happened?
Well, because when Ron got it so fast, we said, Greg should do another one now. And then over in the corner, they were saying, you should do an audio hint for Ron, and you guys should just make noises and see if Ron could guess the animal based on the noise.
Name
the animal
that. Name that tune with an animal.
Name that tune. So, Greg, make an animal sound. See if Ron can identify what it is.
Oh God! What sound does a pangolin make? I have no idea.
They don't really.
They don't make a sound. They're silent, like Basenji dogs.
But I guess you'd probably be able. We, with very few exceptions, would be playing sounds for you, and you would get most of them. Would you not, Ron? Like whatever sounds we were playing of the animal kingdom.
If you're playing sounds, yeah, but animals have such diverse sounds. You can have one animal, you can make 20 different sounds, and many of them mimic other animals. So I would probably lose more often than I would win in that game, because you could easily collectively, select these sounds that would really not identify a certain animal. Certain animals have sounds that only they make, but a lot of sounds can be made by a lot of different animals. Okay, cow, I got you. Right.
That sounded like you were just curious or hungry. It was just you.
Like someone enjoying dinner.
Maybe sensual, maybe you making a move in the bedroom. Ron, thank you for being on with us. If you want to contribute directly, there isn't a lot of red tape. You basically give your money and Ron Magill will get it to the right people so that they can take care of the animals. Ron Magill's substantive endowment is something that we urge you to check out. Thank you, Ron. We will talk to you again next week, sir.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
See you, Ron.
Stugotz, moving on here. Yeah. So no commercial breaks. Let's just keep it moving. Go live. Go dangerous. Even though Lewis is having some struggles with the technical stuff, and Tony is hungover from birthday.
I have a question for him next week.
One. I mean,
what fossil do you think Ron would want wrapped in gold? Because he went to the Faena where they have the what is it, a woolly mammoth that's in gold. So what's like the best fossil that you would wrap in gold?
How much is that? Was that a $10 million or $20 million absurdity? That's why I called him a baller at Faena, because there is, it looks like a dinosaur, but I guess, yeah, that's what it is. It's a gold, it is a woolly mammoth, and it is solid gold, and it is encased, and even the casing for that is hugely expensive, because obviously you can't have anyone coming in either in hurricane or on any other time knocking out something that is a $10 or a $20 million piece of art. But that whole place is all manner of money. What's that woolly mammoth worth? Do you know?
When it was first installed in 2016, it was estimated to be worth $20 million.
Waste of money.
Jeez.
Just waste like 15 Americas, man. Like waste of money. Get out of here. $220 million.
Obscene.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Have you ever seen it? I mean, it's incredibly impressive. I just stood there for like 15 minutes just looking at the thing.
So it's a fossil of an extinct animal from prehistoric times.
It's gold.
Yeah, they took something, a rarity, and they wrapped it in gold.
It deserves to be in a museum.
That's right.
Faena is a museum to money.
Miami money, not just money.
But Mike, you leave that alone. I mean, seriously, it doesn't need gold. It's like the Packers helmet. Just don't touch it. I mean,
just leave the woolly mammoth there with no.
This one's more like the Notre Dame helmet.
Yeah.
It is excessive. They are right. Once you've got the woolly mammoth in a case, you don't really need to go the extra step of gold unless you're Miami.
It's also not an actual fossil. It's a sculpture of the skeleton. I thought it was way too well preserved. I thought it might have been the gold that helped.
Yeah.
I would think that the preservation of a woolly mammoth, if you were to find it somewhere, would be worth more than $20 million.
Incredibly well preserved full skeleton of a woolly mammoth. I guess I was gullible there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think
it's still 24 karat gold. It's maybe a weird use of gold, but it's just awe-inspiring when you see it.
I believe that both me and the audience were fooled by the same thing, thinking that Miami would have a perfectly serviceable bone structure for a woolly mammoth, and then say, not enough. Not enough to have it merely be that. We've got a dinosaur in the back. You've also then got to encase it in gold. I believe that people thought what I thought, which is that they took an actual woolly mammoth and draped it in gold, and that made it worth $20 million.
That could have went towards the bars.
Yeah.
Charity. Some cabanas. Yeah. Some more amenities. No. We're going to put a woolly mammoth
schools.
I think Faena doesn't lack for that kind of stuff.
Drainage around the hotel.
Right. Teachers.
Yeah.
Infrastructure, yeah.
Drainage around the hotel.
Yeah, I mean, there's always flooding
of
down
flooding,
near the
yeah.
beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put in a pump, you know?
Yeah.
We should put a seawall in
Talk to
because
some politicians. Yeah.
Seawall.
to protect that woolly
To save
mammoth.
the mammoth.
That's how the
Yeah.
seawall's
And
going
all
to
of
go.
us.
We're all going to be on board that we need a seawall, and then an HOA is going to be like, no, I signed up for a beachfront view, and the seawall is going to get in the way of my view. And then it will get nuked.
Or is that HOA, man?
Stugotz, yesterday we did not get to celebrate what it felt like you entered the Radio Hall of Fame yesterday. It felt like you got
Part of me did, yeah.
You got
Yeah.
inducted. Did they put Mad Dog on First Take yesterday just to celebrate on a rare Monday instead of Wednesday that he had gotten? I guess it's not yet inducted into the Hall of Fame. Just he qualifies, but not yet inducted.
No, he's in the Hall of Fame. They haven't had the ceremony yet, but he has now made the Radio Hall of Fame along with Susan Waldman, who's was a reporter for the Yankees and also the voice of the Yankees, I think, and probably still is, or one of the voices of the Yankees on the radio. So Mad Dog is in the Hall of Fame. He has not had the ceremony yet. I think he's in there twice. I think he's in there with Mike and the Mad Dog.
Oh no,
that show.
I think he was upset because he had not been in any way. I thought that there was. Wait a minute, you're telling me you think Francesa is in and that
I think
Russo's not in?
I think the show got in. Like they got in together, and then he got in as an individual. I could be wrong on this. I've reached out to Chris Russo and asked him to the Hall of Famer. And asked him to join the show this week, and so I'm waiting to hear back.
Would you like me to empty the Suzanne Waldman file?
Oh, please.
Yes,
Roger
please.
Clemens is in George's box, and Roger Clemens is coming back. Oh, my goodness gracious. Of all the dramatic things I've ever seen, Roger Clemens standing right in George Steinbrenner's box announcing he is back. Roger Clemens is a New York Yankee.
Not that dramatic.
Clemens not in the Hall of Fame, by the way.
Wow.
It was all different before steroids. It was all like, listen to the drama leak out of that moment. Her enthusiasm was merited at the time, and wow, does it not age well?
Roger Clemens is in George's box, and Roger Clemens is coming back. Oh, my goodness gracious.
That was in 2007. He would have been 44 years old. That's 44-year-old Roger Clemens that is soliciting this reaction.
The Rocket.
What do you mean? It's the Rocket. It's Roger Clemens.
He was 44.
Wait a minute. You guys make arguments all the time around here. All the time around here about Greg Cote could kick field goals, thinks he could kick field goals at 65.
Thank you.
Athletes can be great at whatever age it is that you put them on the field.
Right.
Tom Brady right now, you say at 44, Tom Brady, you still expect him to win MVP at that age, do you not?
Yep.
Wasn't the over-under on Tom Brady this year, touchdowns, 35 and a half or 36 and a half touchdowns?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of insanity is that?
Did you see how he replaced Gronk?
Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Another
That
one
team.
of these Frankensteins that just turns around. That's just Cameron Brate by another name.
Just another tight end open in the end zone. I mean, that's what it is. Kyle Rudolph's going to have the best year Kyle Rudolph has ever had.
Right.
I mean,
Mike Francesa's in the Radio Hall of Fame, but it
okay.
doesn't look like Mike and the Mad Dog went in as a show.
Okay.
So now he will join him.
so now Doggy's a Hall of Famer. His rightful place. He is deserving of the Radio Hall of Fame. He really is. I mean, perhaps the most legendary show in the history of sports radio right after us. And then Russo started his own channel at Sirius XM. So
There's too many people in his Hall of Fame.
what do you mean?
There's way too many people in his Hall of Fame. If you go to the website, you have to break it down by letter, and there's like 6 different pages because they'll just do like 2 or 3 letters at a time. And the number of people in his Hall of Fame, like B's alone, there's like 80 people. There's too many people.
We'll
I mean,
take someone out.
there are people who are popular in individual markets. There are probably people in the Radio Hall of Fame that like were only popular in Baltimore, but in Baltimore they're
Not Hall of
they're
Fame.
heroes.
No.
Radio's been a
Well,
been
Franklin
around for
D.
a very long
Roosevelt's
time.
in the Hall of Fame.
FDR.
Thank you.
Greg Cote says there are different kinds of Hall of Famers. He is
Correct.
saying there are universal first ballot Hall of Famers, and that Mad Dog, according to Greg Cote's estimation, Mad Dog has to wait a while.
Yep.
To
that's
get
exactly
in.
right.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
Marginal.
Mad Dog's the first ballot.
He's
Hall of
not,
Fame. He's Aaron
obviously.
Rodgers. I
Well-
mean, yeah, but he should have been treated better.
Ryan Seacrest is in the Hall of Fame. He's like 30 years younger than Mad Dog.
That's crazy.
I'm looking at the list right now. I'm not in it. I should be right between
You think you were?
Norman Corwin and Frankie Crocker. Nowhere to be found.
You couldn't
Crocker.
tie Frankie Crocker's boots.
Or Corwin. That guy could lean into a mic. Wow. Grew up listening to him. Bing Crosby is in here. Look at this. Wow.
Yeah.
Burbank. Gary Burbank.
He just,
Jimmy Durante.
Dan, you're going to be in the Hall of Fame, I feel like. You don't think you're making it to the Radio Hall of Fame?
we're not even
Do you guys
on
think Dan's making it to the
we're
Radio
not
Hall
on
of Fame?
the radio
He has to.
anymore.
Dan, you better hope you don't make it to the Hall of Fame without Stugotz.
Oh, boy. Big issues.
gosh.
Big issues. That's exactly the way it's going to go down, by the way. I can't wait.
Median age.
I make the speech. I mean, can I sit with friends and family? I mean,
median age on the shipping container needs to go down if both of us have a Jimmy Durante in our locker, Roy.
No. What is happening? Well,
Little Orphan Annie in the Hall of Fame. Lone Ranger in the Hall of
put
Fame.
it on the poll.
is Dan going to the Hall of Fame?
no.
Come on.
Have you ever said ha cha cha cha? You said wow a bunch of times, and somebody, a listener, I don't know who it was, did the math on what I miss around here, which is the cacophony of Owen Wilson wows. He has said in the movies, according to the math being done here, 3,500 words in 47 movies. That means he is paid $1,324 per word. He has said the word wow 102 times. Owen Wilson has made $135,000 on film merely saying the word wow.
Damn.
Wow.
What a career.
God says damn.
No, I was looking at Elvis Duran. He's in the Hall of Fame. How is he still playing Elvis Duran? Like, he's in his
So
prime.
Daniel Patrick,
Like,
yeah.
is it a stage show?
Yeah. I mean,
What do you mean?
Is he on Broadway?
I'm not certain he's deserving of the Hall of Fame, Elvis.
You made it sound like Elvis
syndicated.
Duran is in
Wow. Where do you have him playing? You have him touring right now?
He's part of that big morning show, National Morning Show.
Morning Zoo.
But he should be a
Morning
Hall of
He's
Famer
nationally
before.
syndicated. He's all
but
over the country.
Before Chris Russo and Susan Waldman. I mean, did you hear the sound we played?
Roger Clemens is in George's box, and Roger Clemens is coming back. Oh my goodness gracious!
Stugotz here for my friends over at Simply Safe. Around here, we talk a lot about the importance of good defense on the field or court. But what about defending your own home turf? Pretty important, huh? We believe home should be the safest place on earth for every family, which is why I use and recommend Simply Safe Home Security. Simply Safe is advanced whole home security that puts you, your home, and your family's safety first. Here's why I love it. Easy to install. If I can do it, anyone can do it. And I love to be able to keep an eye on my driveway to see what packages are coming up. Keep an eye, see when the kids get home, when I'm away. I love Simply Safe. It is amazing. Simply Safe offers comprehensive protection, not only against intruders and burglary, but against expensive home hazards from flooding to fires with 24/7 professional monitoring. Simply Safe's agents take action the moment a threat is detected. You can customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/DLB. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. Again, that's simplysafe.com/DLB.
When you shop at Walmart, you get it. Spend a little less on dorm must-haves.
8 a.m. class, 8 ounces of caffeine.
A room that finally feels just like home. And create a space that's a little more you. With bedding from $5 and appliances from $9. Save money, live better. Walmart.
Dan Le Batard.
Why are you so bad at this?
Stugotz.
I can't answer that question. It's a good one, though. I've been thinking about it a lot.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
This is unbelievable. Stugotz is escalating this thing with Baselli and Jacksonville fans. He's egging Baselli on. And now Greg Cote is saying that I should put up billboards in Canton. saying Baselli shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
Yep, correct.
Just to agitate
Jacksonville.
Just to agitate Jacksonville fans the most. Tony Khan, head of AEW, is going to join us here in 20 minutes or so to talk about Vince McMahon and the state of wrestling. He is always good on the subject of wrestling, and he's a Jacksonville guy, and nobody from Jacksonville should be in the Hall of Fame. Can you get me the sound, please, before I put billboards up in Canton of how Tony Baselli actively ruin his Hall of Fame weekend?
I think you also need to do it in Jacksonville. I think that would upset Tony even more. Like, that's the hometown. That's where he played. He lives there now. I think you have to go Jacksonville.
That's funny. The last time we did billboards, Greg Cote made a very, very serious appearance on Cleveland television. They called him as a journalist close to Le Batard. And Greg Cote, this is one of the most embarrassing public media appearances of Greg Cote's life.
It is.
That he would treat all of this seriously after we put up billboards. What a panicked situation this was. Do you remember how mad everybody at ESPN was?
Oh, I do.
So stupid. Listen to this.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6. That's right, 6 of these You're Welcome LeBron Love Miami billboards spread across Akron. They cost about $100,000, and they were put up by ESPN TV and radio host Dan Le Batard, who lives in Miami. Well, the 4-letter network suspended him for 2 days because they say they had no idea what he was up to. Le Batard sent a text to a reporter in response to the suspension, which reads, I guess ESPN didn't find it at all quite as funny as I did. Nope. And neither did people from Akron, like the LeBron James grandmother's fan club.
I did not like the billboard, no. Don't mess with our child. Don't mess with our child.
A Miami Herald reporter spoke to Le Batard and says we may be out of bounds on the sign's message.
Dan did it all in jest, you know. To him, it was all good-natured fun.
No matter what the billboard's message is, people in Akron think ESPN did the right thing by having Le Batard sit on the bench a few days.
Well, I think he did it underhanded then. You know, if they didn't know about it, they did the right thing by suspending him.
They said, that reporter said that Greg said that what you did was out of bounds, and the clip that they played, he said absolutely none of that.
Yeah.
He said that you did it in good fun.
Damn right.
From a landline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, thanks for protecting the show and Dan, Greg.
You know, I did what I could.
Yeah,
really.
you had to go out to the front line and take the heat for all of us.
I took the slings and arrows for you.
Yeah.
Do you think the LeBron James grandmother's fan club still meets?
Put it on the poll, Guillermo.
I do, actually.
I would join it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is dangerous. I don't want to do it. I'm not doing it.
Well, there's sustainable growth. There's always a new grandmother.
Yeah, but I'm sure they lost some members. Though.
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Wow.
I mean, you know, sometimes you have to retire. You know,
They have to retire.
Because he went to Los Angeles?
Retire. Grandma, put it on the poll, Guillermo. Do grandmas ever retire?
Put up a billboard against the grandmother.
They must have been meeting while LeBron was in Miami, because this is in reaction to him signing with Cleveland. And so they must have had some sustainability during the period during which he was in Miami.
No, I think they're front runners, the grandmothers. I'll just say it.
Wow.
I think they met when LeBron was in town, and then when he went to Miami, they cursed his name, and then when he came back, all of a sudden they were meeting again.
I don't think I've ever received something more threatening than "don't mess with my child" from LeBron's grandmother.
I don't think that's actually his grandmother.
It might not be.
I think it was just a collection of grandmothers that liked LeBron.
Right.
I think you're right, Billy. We all learned a valuable lesson that week, that even though you talk about something openly on the air for 2 weeks and you tell your bosses repeatedly it's something that you're going to do, ESPN will still maintain they never heard you say it.
They weren't listening. They weren't.
So that is more threatening to you than Baselli threatening to punch you in the face next time he sees you
Where are you with this? Because I see you.
He's mad at you.
But you're actively instigating this.
I'm not. It's your words, man. They're your poll questions. I mean, you're saying it, not me. He's reading it.
But it's a joke for our audience to get the Jacksonville fans mad who aren't finding any of this funny, just the same way that Akron's fans didn't find any of this funny. Billboards, sacrilege. Those I bought them for a month. I had to take them down after a day, and I never got my plane off the ground that was supposed to fly over the entire Akron homecoming with a "You're welcome, LeBron" banner behind it.
I was supposed to go.
Fly a plane over Canton. Please do it. Please, during the ceremony.
Baselli doesn't belong in the hall.
I dare you to do it.
Yeah. So you can have a direct flight, Stugotz.
Exactly.
Stu, I have an idea. Why don't you ask him, hey, I would like to send you a gift. And then you get his address and the distance between his home and the airport. Just every billboard that's on the way doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Bruce's shoulder was hurt. He entered that game with an injury.
If I thought this meathead wouldn't come down here and tear my head off for ruining his weekend, it's such a funny
joke. It would take him 10 seconds to kill you.
It would be such a good joke.
He would do you like Magneto did Wolverine. He'd just tear your skeleton out of your body. Spoiler alert. It's one of the comic book series.
I see
don't have a
Baselli
skeleton made out of metal.
just like banging him on the top of the head and then Dan sinking into the ground.
Yes.
Like a cartoon?
Yeah, like, and then he just goes straight into the ground.
What's the name of that big red Looney Tune?
He could do that. I mean,
just like one hand, and from up there, he'd be taller than me, and I would just keep getting shorter until I was just a head above the sand, and he stepped on it. Let's do funniest thing from the sports weekend.
Hey, people, tell us what in the sport made you laugh hardest this weekend. It is a segment we call What Made You Laugh This Weekend. Ha ha ha!
funniest thing from the sports weekend is brought to you by CBD MD.
Tony, what do you got? What was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Dan, I love when elite athletes do things that the common folk like us do, and I loved watching Klay Thompson down a beer at the Dodgers game. Just absolutely
He was very good at it. He pounded a beer. He's having a fun offseason. A lot of people are now having the arguments of July, comparing Klay Thompson to players that came before him and yelling at each other. He's arrived in a place where he can be both underrated and overrated. It's where all champions decide. They love to reside. Roy, what do you have for us?
Victor Robles wore a clown nose in the dugout a day after Madison Bumgarner called him a clown for celebrating a home run.
Let's get that sound. We didn't play it yesterday. Stugotz was enjoying yesterday anyone calling anyone else a clown. I saw over the weekend a good old-fashioned Nick Castellanos in the Phillies clubhouse signs a $100 million contract, calls a reporter's question stupid. I feel like that's dying a little bit. Zoom took that away from us, the ability for somebody to stand in front of his locker and make national news by calling one of us an idiot.
Aggressive PR guy jumped in the middle of it. So I was like, no, I think he answered your question. I think
it was good PRing from that guy. He got in there and
the reporter was like, it's not a stupid question. Just answer the question. It was
a good question.
It was 4 laps of.
Did you hear the booze was the question.
It was a dumb question.
But you missed it. It was a part of your life. You didn't think you would miss it until it was gone.
Did you know it was endangered?
But I didn't know I would miss it until it was gone.
Did you know it was endangered? That one of the things with limited access with Zoom, man, I think the future is going to have less and less access and more the illusions of these wired for sound accesses. I think these stars, these moments, franchises aren't going to let you near them. Like, they're not going to let Castellanos make something worse on $100 million because he's already feeling the pressure. He's called a reporter stupid. And now the reporter can, under his breath, while a PR guy is waving, all right, end of interview, he's saying, why is it a stupid question? It's not a stupid question.
Shouldn't that lead to reporters getting more aggressive with their questions? If they're not going to get the access anyway to one-on-one interviews or exclusive tidbits or anything from the team, they should just get more aggressive and say, well, you suck tonight. Tell us about it.
You thought it was a stupid question to ask him, did you hear the booze?
I think it's more, what was your reaction to the booze? Because everyone heard the booze. The question of, did you hear? Of course he did. But it's more like the follow-up is, so if Nick Castellanos says yes, that's a terrible answer. The follow-up is, well, then what was your reaction to the boos? Just start with, what was your reaction to your own fans booing
So you believe that Castellanos was criticizing his interview technique instead of if he had asked more, if he was already
preposterous
agitated.
question to ask, right? Like,
No.
yeah, I heard no, I stand up there and I can't hear anything. Just
he could have claimed
get
that.
to the point. No, come on.
He could have claimed, I'm so focused on the game, I don't hear anything the crowd's saying.
When
He
there's
could have said
thousands
that.
of people booing you, you're not going to hear that?
Look, he should have just answered the damn question. Of course I heard the boos. I wasn't real pleased about it. They should support me. There's a million things he could have said instead of that's a dumb question.
But you always come to it from the perspective of you doing your job and not liking to be told. Yours is soaked. Your analysis on this is soaked in the narcissism of you hate it when an athlete tells you that your question is stupid.
Well, listen, if a major free agent signing in the middle of a disappointing season hears vociferous booing and is asked about it, that's a perfectly valid line of questioning from the media. Perfectly valid.
So it's either perfectly valid according to Cote or stupid according to Whittingham. What's the in between? Can it be somewhere in between?
Not in my mind.
Okay.
Not in my mind either.
All right,
Okay.
there we go. A standoff.
Well,
Billy.
he said Whitty is saying you the question is phrased wrong, and my attitude is whether it's phrased right or wrong.
Ask
stand
about the
up,
booing.
Stand up and answer the question.
Ask about the booing. He could have handled it more professionally, but he's mad because they were booing him.
Correct.
And no one likes to be a public failure at their job after signing for $100 million. Billy, what's the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
During Friday's 28-5 loss at the hands of the Blue Jays, a Red Sox fan in the fifth inning, while the Red Sox were down 25-3, decided to propose.
Oh no!
Ouch.
You gotta not do that.
Yeah, harbinger of a failed marriage.
You gotta. That is. Put it on the poll, Guillermo. If you propose down 25-3, is that a harbinger of a failed marriage? Whittingham, funniest thing from the sports weekend.
On a similar front, all of the Boston Red Sox is defending this weekend.
All of it. Investigate the sky. Mike Ryan, funniest thing from the sports.
Boston Herald's doing that, by the way, Dan. I'll have an update for you by tomorrow.
Thank you.
You got it.
I get accused of shoehorning some politics into the discussion, so I will find a sports tie to this. Josh Hawley ran a 7.240 when running away from January 6th insurrectionists after encouraging them with a fist up in the air.
And then this weekend said he will not cower, he will not run, correct?
Yeah.
Stugotz, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Jerry West just letting it fly on J.J. Redick. I mean, he has stopped caring, Jerry West, and he is letting people have it.
Does he care too little or does he care too much?
I guess he cares too much and too little. I mean, can you do that at the same time? Because I believe Jerry West is doing that. He has absolutely arrived at an age where he doesn't care what you think about Jerry West, I think.
I don't think that you can think that, though, when their portrayal of him on Winning Time has him threatening
for
to go
McKay.
to the
That he
Supreme
cares
Court.
about,
Like,
yes.
he clearly cares about something there.
Well, it's a bad portrayal. I mean,
This is not from sports, but I just read it over the weekend, and it made me laugh, that Jerry Seinfeld wanted to, this is from Uberfax, Jerry Seinfeld wanted to be on South Park, agreed to be on South Park, and they gave him the non-speaking part of Turkey number 2, whereupon he declined to be on South Park. But that's exactly how South Park should handle that situation. It was between that and Rudy Giuliani having code Rudy on a MyPillow discount for slippers.